Napoli fans around the world, welcome to Napoli Talk. Guys, not the game that we'll remember for the rest of our lives. Let's put it that way, guys. Not a lot of chances, not a lot of good passages of play from neither side, to be honest. Scruffy game. Roma, I think, were doing better in the first half. Napoli were doing better in the second half. I think overall a draw is a good result. I think the few chances that the teams had either way, I think they kind of were similar. I mean, Roma had a few that I think they should have scored. For example, the one with Abraham. We had the one where we hit the post. So I can see how a draw is a fair result, and it's not a bad result. Going away from home at Roma in what is not technically a derby, but kind of is, Derby del Sole. It's a decent result. And I think that we can build from this. I think it takes also a bit of pressure of us, that whole undefeated, or not undefeated because we still are undefeated, but that whole thing of winning 8 games in a row. I think, that constant pressure of winning for the record, I think, that's unnecessary pressure on Napoli. I think now that we've drawn a result, we've got to draw out of this result, then, it takes a bit of pressure, to be honest. It's not a bad result, better than a loss. I think you guys get what I mean with that. But, I mean, if we take a look at the analysis, or let's take a look at the stats, I mean, we can really see how tight of a game this was, guys. I mean, 3 shots on target by Napoli and only 1 by Roma. Not a lot in it. 63% possession, though, for Napoli. A lot of fouls. And somehow, Roma don't have a red card with Abraham. We're going to talk about that, guys. But I mean, Napoli were quite poor at times with their offsides. Got caught offside 6 times. I think mostly with Osimhen. Osimhen got a goal disallowed by an offside. And I think he should have done a bit better putting himself in an onside position there. But guys, importantly, we are still first. We keep 9 points ahead of Roma. We keep 10 points ahead of Atalanta, and Inter, Juventus play later today. So at least one of those teams will drop points. Atalanta drew, so, Lazio lost. So I think that a draw today wasn't the end of the world, especially considering, guys, our next games. I mean, if we take a look at the next games, we've got Bologna, Salernitana, and Verona. Now, obviously, Verona did score 4 today with Simeone, so I'm not going to say that's going to be an easy game. But I do think that against these 3 teams, we should be getting 3 wins. So that's going to put us in a really good position, hopefully, by the time that we have to play Inter, then Lazio, then we've got Milan, Atalanta, all these teams. But I think if we can get up to match day 12 with 11 wins and this 1 draw, I think that would be something that we would have all signed up for. Now, before I get to the analysis, the tactical analysis of the game, let's read some of the comments that we have here. EJ Wise is saying, don't forget, a draw against a top table team isn't a bad result in the end, but it does make me think, if this team wants to compete in Europe, who do we even replace and bring in? Now, it's interesting you say that, because Napoli didn't make a lot of substitutions today. We only made 3 subs, and I'm not sure why Spalletti didn't bring on more people. Yo is saying red card Spalletti at the end. Yeah, so both Mourinho and Spalletti got a red card. Mourinho, because of protests in the first half, got a first yellow. Then when a foul wasn't given on Zaniolo, which is where Insigne got injured, Mourinho just raged, started kicking everything, and got a second yellow. And then Spalletti got a straight red at the end of the game, and I'm not sure what happened there. So we're gonna have to look into that during the press conference. So yeah, don't know what happened there. We're gonna have to wait until the press conference. If someone in the chat knows what happened with Spalletti, do let me know. Cleto's saying we deserve the win. I mean, can you deserve the win when you've only shot 3 times on target? I think a draw. I think if there's one game that screams out a draw, it's this one, guys. I mean, I don't feel like Napoli did enough to deserve a win. And the one good chance that we had, which is when we hit the post with Osimhen, Roma had an equally good chance with Abraham in the first half. So I think we did dominate in the second half, but I don't think we did enough to actually deserve a win. I think a draw is a fair result, guys. Kanohan Flame is saying we played good, Roma played good, neither had a cutting edge, fair draw that both will take. Yeah, I mean, I would have, at the start of the season, if you're telling me get a draw away from Roma, it's not the worst thing that could happen to us. Shout out to some of my Roma fans, Giancarlo. I think he's happy with this. I was speaking to him yesterday about this, and he was pretty scared about Napoli. So he must be happy with this result if he's watching. Matthias Bifani saying again, our weakest position is our team at mid-attack. Zielinski needs confidence. Dries outperformed him in that position. Anguissa stepped up second half, which turned the tables. Overall, well done. So yeah, Zielinski is a big issue, guys. Zielinski is a huge issue. I mean, if we go to let's go straight to so I'm doing things in a bit of a random order. Usually we do the match analysis first and then the player ratings, but let's take a look at the player ratings first, because then I think that tells us a lot about the match analysis that we'll see later. So I think I can't remember who said it in the chat, maybe it was the last comment, that said we didn't have a cutting edge in attack. And I think you can tell by the ratings that I gave that I think we were all right in midfield and defensively, but then in attack, not a lot of inspiration, not a lot going on there. Insigne, I gave him a 6. Didn't really do that much going forward, but defensively it was good. Politano, not too much. Lozano came on, moved in a bit better. I thought Zambo, look, this might seem like it's a low rating for Zambo, 6.5, but I think that he had a really good opportunity to take a shot in a game that we didn't have many shots, in a game that we didn't test Rui Patricio. I think he had a great chance to shoot, and he didn't. He tried dribbling a little too much, is my impression of it. And so while he did put in a good performance, 6.5 is good. My definition of 6.5 is good, because 6 is average, so you're above average. And I did want to give Koulibaly our man of the match because he was instrumental in blocking off shots, and so many times we were left with Roma countering and we got saved by Koulibaly. Now, I don't think Koulibaly deserved more than a 7, so then I can't give other people a 7 if I'm giving Koulibaly a 7. But that's just my personal ratings. I mean, I can put a poll. I'm gonna put a poll. Let's say what should Zambo get, and then I'm gonna put above 6.5 or less than or equal to 6.5. There we go, guys. Answer the poll. I think it's coming up right there. What should Zambo get? Above a 6.5 or less than or equal to a 6.5? Let me know with your votes, guys, in the chat. Dino Bowen is saying, what happened with Insigne with talking to Mourinho? Yeah, I mean, Insigne is the type of guy that always speaks to the different coaches. We've seen that a few different times. We have to see how bad of an injury he got. So yeah, that's going to be quite interesting. So You know what? It's pretty tight. It's pretty tight. The 30 votes so far, okay? And I'm seeing on my screen 58% are saying equal or less than 6.5. So I'm guessing equal to 6.5. I don't think the majority are saying it should be above a 6.5. So, but that's still pretty tight. IDB saying Politano sounds fire in the number 10. Politano, we tried him in the number 10 against Milan last year, and to be fair, he did quite good. I was surprised to see Zielinski there today. I thought Mertens was coming off the back of a few good performances. Zielinski, not so much. That's one thing that I wish Spalletti changed in terms of our starting formation. And then in the second half, I wish he made more subs and brought on, players like Mertens sooner. Brought him on in the 81st minute. And I think maybe we could have added someone in midfield as well. Because I think in the last 10 minutes, Roma were regaining control of that midfield, and it would have been a bad result for us if we had lost through a counterattack. So I think he should have brought on Demme. I mean, it turned out okay, but I think he should have. Anyways, let's go straight to the analysis, guys. This one, I'm gonna be honest, guys. I'm gonna be pretty quick today with my live stream because the F1 is starting in 40 minutes. So it's not going to take it's going to take like another 30 minutes tops. All right, guys, I'm not going to do those like 1.5 hour streams. But let's go straight to the analysis, guys. So I thought Roma were pretty good today in the first half. And we played in a way that was extremely risky, guys. Extremely risky. So let me explain what's going on here. So Roma have the ball, and Frank Anguissa goes to the same line as Insigne and Zielinski. He presses up. So what Napoli are trying to do is we're trying to block Vertu and... I mean, I wrote Pellegrini there, but I can't tell if that's Pellegrini or if that's Cristante. But anyways, the two midfielders that are collecting the ball from Roma, we're trying to block that off, right? And we're basically saying, if you want to get to the attack, you're going to have to play over us. Because, guys, the thing is that Roma have very good players on the ball, and so we didn't want the ball to go through Vertu's feet at all. Now, this created some problems for us, because whenever Roma did get in behind us, then we would have Frank Anguissa, the guy that's meant to be recovering all the balls. We had him well away from where the ball was, and then you see here a line of 4 going up against the back 4 of Napoli with also Abraham there. So it was a 5 against 4 situation a lot of the time because of how far up Napoli were. It left us exposed at the back. And honestly, the pressing that we did never really worked. There was one time in the second half where Rui Patricio kind of suffered Osimhen's pressing and almost made a mistake, but we didn't really do much with it. But other than that, Roma were pretty good at getting the ball over our midfield, and then basically we were pretty much exposed, and we relied heavily on Koulibaly to save us. Daniel is saying, do a poll for Juve or Inter. I mean, I think we can all agree that between Juve and Inter winning, I'd rather Inter win, to be honest. I would rather that Inter win. That might surprise some people because Inter are a bigger rival for the title right now, but I feel like an Inter win would 100% eliminate Juventus from title talks. And because, I mean, guys, they're not completely out of it. There's like a 10% chance still, but if they lose today, then they're out of it. And I also feel like that would also guarantee that Napoli would finish in the top 4 if Juventus lose today. Because I do see the top 4 being contested between, obviously, Milan, Napoli, and then Inter and Juventus. But with a Juventus loss, then that's it almost guarantees the top 4 for Napoli, and that's objective number 1 this season. If we had won today, then I would have said maybe a Juventus win, because then we just got to focus on the title. So, but obviously a draw is the best result, in my opinion, as you guys are saying. But the question specifically was, do you prefer an Inter win or a Juve win? Out of the two, I prefer, if someone has to win, I would prefer Inter. But that's just my personal take. I honestly would never want a Juventus win unless it has like a very direct bearing on Napoli's position. Let's say it's a Milan-Juve and we need Juve to win so that Milan drop points because it's the last game of the season, then, in that case, sure. But other than that, I like to see Juventus drop points. Anyways, guys, so this happened several times that we had a lot of people up forward, and look at that. We've only got, in this case, Politano and Fabian defending against a line of 4 of Roma players. And to be honest, I mean, it looks bad. It looks like, oh, what are they doing? But actually, think about it, guys. I mean, maybe take your time to read what's on the screen. But the way that Napoli is set up, right, is that we let the guy with the ball have the ball. We didn't press the guy with the ball. And we said, look, now you've got to make a decision with what you do with the ball. Who are you going to pass it to? And the 3 players that I've highlighted in yellow are 3 of Roma's most technical players in the middle. And we've got all 3 of them covered. We've got Fabian and Politano on Mkhitaryan, which is further up the field, playing in a sort of number 10 position. And that's on purpose because we've got... Look at Politano and Di Lorenzo. They're not worried about Vigna in number 5. Both of them are worried about Mkhitaryan. Politano's more central and Di Lorenzo doesn't go towards Vigna because we want to make sure Mkhitaryan doesn't get the ball, right? And we also don't want players like Vertu getting the ball. So we've got Anguissa that goes up to where Vertu is, and then the other guy is blocked off by Zielinski. So now Roma have a decision to make about who they're going to pass it to, and obviously they can't pass it to the guys on highlighted in yellow. They've got to pass it to the guys that are highlighted in red. Now he can pass it to Vigna at left back, but he's probably the least dangerous player that Roma have. So for us, that's not a problem. We can handle that. Or he can try the diagonal pass to the other player highlighted in red, playing in a sort of number 10. But that's a difficult ball. You have to get past Anguissa and you have to get past Fabian Ruiz that could, as the ball's traveling, could get into that position. And in fact, that's the kind of pass that he tries to do and Fabian intercepts it. So, Napoli... very risky because we've got all these players pushed up and we're leaving us a bit exposed at the back. But I can see what we're trying to do at times. In this case, I think it was the right thing to do. But then we had other situations where, again, look at Anguissa's position. Almost the furthest player up the field, our defensive midfielder, the furthest player up the field alongside Osimhen. And we let the guy with the ball, have all the time in the world. We say, you know what, mate? Keep the ball. Do what you got to do. We're blocking out every single player in your proximity. If you want to do anything with this, you're going to have to get a really risky pass correct. And, to be fair to him, there is that space in behind Zielinski and Fabian, and he did pick out the right pass. And once he did, then that did leave us exposed. And all of a sudden, we've got a 4v5 situation where we've got only our back 4 to rely on. And so we've got these 4 Roma midfielders and Abraham. and they push up, and Koulibaly is good to step out of line and, recover that ball. But it was risky by Napoli, very risky, to just say to Roma, have the ball, you got to find the right pass, because, often they did. So, credit to Roma, but also, that's a good thing from Napoli, playing a bit risky, and luckily it didn't hurt us. Let's see what the comments are saying. Let's see. Matteo Casale saying, I would rather die than root for Juve. I think that's how a lot of us feel. SJ is saying, we need another big number 9 to be a backup for Osimhen, especially with AFCON. Who would like to sign Cavani, return as a backup from Man United? Guys, Cavani is on such crazy wages. That would be such a dream for Cavani to come back to Napoli. It would take it would have to be a sentimental decision by Cavani to reduce his wages enough to come back to Napoli, because I don't think we could offer more than 3 million at most for a player that's quite old at this point. Comment on the criminals in Roma's team. Napoli talk. We'll get there. Let's go straight to it, actually. In a bit. We have this moment here. Let's talk about, the one good chance that Roma had, where Zielinski loses the ball. Horrible day for Zielinski. Did nothing in attack and could have cost us severely in this case. Loses the ball. Roma pick out a great pass for Abraham, and Abraham drags his shot wide. And honestly, he should be doing better than that. So lucky not to have conceded a goal there. Insigne then has our only real chance of the first half. I think here he could have done better, should have kept it low. Leaning back, I feel like he needs to keep those under control a bit more. And then we get to the criminals that are Roma, as ID Beats is saying. Abraham here is on a yellow, and this deserves a second yellow every day of the year. Every day of the week, this deserves a second yellow. Abraham should be off. I mean, this is a really bad pixelated image, but in the replay, you can see how Abraham was looking at Zielinski, not the ball. I mean, he is closer to Zielinski's balls than the actual ball. Probably. Maybe not in this scene, but I mean, when the first contact happened, that was probably true. There's no way Abraham's getting anywhere near that football. All right? That has like zero. There's zero way that should not be a yellow card. Absolutely zero. So Abraham should have been sent off, and then we start the second half, and this foul's not given on Osimhen in a super dangerous position. I mean, in this position, we've got players like Insigne and Politano that could easily score. I mean, we've scored against Roma on a free kick last year, and then a few minutes later, we have another case where Mario Rui gets, harassed by Zaniolo pretty much. How that's not a foul is... Oh, my PC is running low. Oh, man. What happened there? Oh, my battery is running low, guys. What happened there? Whoa. I was about to go offline, guys. I hope the stream is still going on. But did the stream tank? Is it not working, guys? Is the stream not working? Oh no. Tell me the stream is working. My computer was running out of battery and it was about to shut off. Anyways, I hope the stream is working, guys. So anyways, we've got this foul from Zaniolo on Mario Rui. So yeah, I think the stream's working because you guys are commenting on the chat still. That was risky. But yeah, then we've got Mourinho that gets sent off. Somehow the ref sends off Mourinho and doesn't send off a Roma player. So yeah, then we've got Abraham with a late challenge here. Again, should have been a yellow card for me, because he's at least a second late to the tackle here. I mean, it's hard to tell from like a picture, right? But you can imagine the ball's coming in, and look at how, if you look at the details of this photo, look at how much Ospina has his body on the ball. I mean, he catches it and then drags it in, and then Abraham touches his hand. So he's at least a full second late. You know, the time it takes for Ospina to grab the ball and you know, pull it towards himself. So yeah, not good by the referee, not giving this Abraham another yellow. And then we have the situation where we hit the post with a brilliant ball by Fabian. And, you know, we pull it back to Osimhen, and somehow we hit the post from like 2 yards. Somehow that happens. Unreal. Look at that. Honestly. We hit the inside of the post as well. I mean, the ball goes towards Mario Rui. Mario Rui then gets his shot deflected. So, yeah. Super unlucky. But, you know, Roma have their own chances as well. Roma have this chance with Karsdorp. Long ball. But look at how much space he's got. And another thing so, you know, what happens here is that, you know, Roma miss. But a thing to note is how Napoli changed in the second half. How we had basically Insigne deeper than Mario Rui a lot of the time. So you can see here, Mario Rui is alongside, in this case, Zielinski, and Insigne is playing the left-back position, because when we did get the ball back, we would have Insigne as a almost like a holding midfielder / left-back, just pinging balls forward and trying to be a deep playmaker, because it was super difficult to get the ball to Insigne in the first half. So he came a lot deeper in order to get some touches and try to do something. And unfortunately, it's in that left back position when he was chasing back after Zaniolo that he gets injured. But probably that might not have happened if he wasn't, you know, acting as a left back in the second half, pretty much, because you can see how high Mario Rui is pushing up in that second half. Let's see what the chat is saying, apart from the fact that my stream is working. And guys, make sure you are smashing that like button, because I swear I caught my computer. It was counting down to it was saying like 10, 9, 8, and I had to plug my charger in. So, you know, if you like those quick reactions, then you better smash that like button, guys. This entry of Abraham into Ospina's hands is totally unnecessary, says Pedro. The best and unique play of Politano today. I know Spalletti said something nasty to the ref based on his body image and the sarcastic clap. Yeah, Spalletti is... we're going to see what Spalletti says. We're going to see. Raffaele Rispo, ciao tutti. Hello, everyone. Frustrating game, says Matt Marco. So, yeah, that's how Insigne got injured, playing from that deep position. And then this is where I think that Anguissa should have taken a shot. I mean, here you've got all the time in the world to just curl that in with your left foot. And I know it's not his strong foot, but in a game where it's the 83rd minute, locked at 0-0, you've never tested Rui Patricio. You've got to shoot at that point. You've got to take a shot over there. Instead he tries to dribble, and that's where I think he lost the half point for me. That's why he didn't get a 7 in my books. Lorenzo's in the house saying Mourinho is a GOAT. Mourinho is... He was a clown today, man. He was a clown. I'm not sure if you saw the game, but he was a clown, honestly. The way he got sent off as well, he's completely lost it. Usually it takes him a few months to lose the plot. This time at Roma, it's 8-9 games, and lost 6-1 in Norway on Thursday. Blamed all his reserve players today. Acted like a clown on the bench. Poli and Lozano blow hot and cold this season, and I'm not liking it. We can't and shouldn't expect Insigne to create everything, says ID Beats. You know what I hate about the whole Politano-Lozano thing is that if you go on Twitter, there is like the pro-Politanos and the pro-Lozano, and none of them are ever recognizing when the other player has a good game. Ever. For example, the pro-Lozano guys will shut up when Politano on Thursday scored and assisted. They won't say anything. They won't say, what a great game by Politano. Fair enough. And then similarly, the Politano fans, when Lozano plays well, never congratulate Lozano. There's this really weird thing on Napoli Twitter that I think some of you may know about. And it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating because they complete each other, I feel, most times. Today, not so much. Today, they were both pretty flat. But a lot of the times, one guy tires the defense for an hour, and then the second guy comes on fresh and does his thing. And they just work well together. I don't know why there has to be this guy or that guy. It seems to be like the only position where that happens, which is, a bit weird. So that's the situation with the match analysis. Nothing really happened after that. So I think that we can go straight into the press conference by Spalletti. I'm curious to see why he was sent off. Matt Marcus saying Mourinho got sent off. I just saw yellow. Yeah, he got a yellow in the first half, and then he got a yellow in the second half. Pedro Vieira saying, in your opinion, does Zielinski deserve a bank after this match? And do you think Elmas would be a start in this case? I thought that Mertens would have started today. I was hoping he would start. And I do think that Zielinski needs to sit on the bench for a bit and prove that he's back on form coming off the bench. Because I'm seeing that Mertens is at a slightly higher level than him at the moment. Roberto Longo saying, Insigne Mertens combination, I feel like we need that creativity again, especially if Zielinski can't snap to form. Yeah, it did feel like we were playing in 10 men. Bezabis is saying Lozano should come on in the left when Politano has a good game and Insigne doesn't. Ooh. Yeah, we haven't seen too much of that. Actually. We've always had Politano come on for Lozano and vice versa. We haven't seen too much of the other way around. We haven't seen Politano and Lozano play together very often, which is, an interesting take. And I tend to agree with that. And we'll see maybe with Insigne being injured if we're going to do that in the next game that is against Bologna, guys. So and it's only in a few days, guys. We've got 4 games coming up before the next break, and there's not a lot of rest in between. Poli has never really had 10-15 continuous matches where he's scoring left and right. That's not really true. The end of last season, he carried Napoli. It was the start of the season that Lozano was carrying us, then Zielinski, then Insigne, then Politano. So, and now this season, it's been Osimhen, and we need someone else to step up as well, because we can't be relying on just one player playing super well, carrying the team. And, if he has a not so great game, like, for example, Osimhen today wasn't amazing, then we need someone else to be firing on all cylinders as well. and we just don't really have that at the moment. Insigne is not looking great. I mean, he did score a worldie, but he's not really looking that great in general. And Politano, Lozano haven't done so either. Mertens has just come back from injury recently. Zielinski not been so good. So we do need someone else in attack to step it up ASAP. So I want to see if Spalletti spoke to the media yet. I don't think so. I think he's about to start. In the meantime, Koulibaly spoke. So let's read what Koulibaly said. So Koulibaly says it's a good point. It's difficult to come here and win, and it's difficult to win every single game. We came here knowing that Roma wanted to react, and we are happy that we defended our goal, our net as a team. We did a great game, and unfortunately for that offside, we didn't. I forgot to talk about the offside. It was a few minutes after. That's the offside that happened with Osimhen in an offside position there. So Koulibaly is saying unlucky for that offside. They ask him about how he feels about his partnership with Rahmani, and he's saying, we can all learn from someone. We need to keep the clean sheets. Guys, not to forget, this is 9 games and Napoli only conceded 3 goals. That's officially 25% of the season now. And Napoli have only conceded 3 goals. At this rate, we only concede 12. I'm not sure if that's a league record, if that would be the case, but it's very promising. It's very, very promising. And, the other team that's second, Milan, right? I mean, guys, Milan are a great team, sure, but they were winning 2-0 against Bologna, and in 10 men, with Bologna in 10 men, Bologna dragged it back to 2-2. And Milan only got the win when it was with 9 men. So, they're not the great Milan of the 1980s, they're not a special team, Milan. So I feel like with this defensive solidity, I feel like Napoli can do pretty well this year. We need to keep this. We need to keep this up. Anyways, Koulibaly was saying, yes, I play well with Rahmani, but also with Manolas and Juan Jesus. Whoever is playing, we all need to work together to keep a clean sheet. And we need to the whole team needs to sacrifice themselves defensively. Fabian, for example, did that extremely well today. Every single player does that really well. No one is selfish. We're a group, and we live very well together, and we can see that on the field. There's a lot of chemistry between us, and we need to keep this up until the very end. They ask him if in the changing room they talk about the Scudetto or they think about it, and Koulibaly saying, look guys, it's too early to talk about the Scudetto, even though we won all the games so far and drew against this one. There's also Milan. We just want to keep this momentum going and think, game after game, and then for the Scudetto, we'll talk about it in March and April. And then they ask him, what do you feel when you get the captain's armband, when Insigne is not on the field? And he's saying, it's a great honor. I've been here for a lot of years and everybody has trust in me. It's an honor being a captain alongside Insigne, but Insigne is the captain. Naples is a city that is in my heart, and it's a pleasure to wear that armband. Let's see if Spalletti has started. Nope, Spalletti has not started his press conference, guys. Spalletti better start his press conference in the next 5 minutes, because after that the F1 starts. So we need to be very careful with timing, guys. The Austin Grand Prix in America. Vesavius is saying Lozano on the left, when Politano on the Lozano on the left, when Politano on the right is the solution I want to see. So Vesavius is insisting on that, and you know what? that's never going to happen from the start. But because Insigne is injured and we don't know the extent, that maybe that could happen. But, it is something that might happen and should maybe happen with Insigne coming off as a sub in some games. Instead of always taking off Lozano or Politano, just take Insigne off at times and see how that goes. ID Beats is saying Elmas over Zelu for me, and I also want Lobotka to start over Zambo sometime. Demme I think deserves it over Lobotka any day of the week. I'm not too worried about the midfield. I feel like our midfield is great. Fabrizio, hi Dom, how are you? Very tough match. Ciao Fabrizio. I'm doing good, thanks. You? Tough match. Very, very physical match. And as I said at the start of the stream, guys, it's a point that I think at the end of the season we'll cherish, because there's going to be a lot of teams that are going to play against Roma and potentially lose points at the Olimpico. I mean, let's take a look at... I know that Roma lost to Juventus, right? I know they did, but let's be honest. That game, Roma deserved much more than a loss against Juventus. They deserved to win that game. And other than that, no other team has played Roma at home yet. So none of the big teams, but we'll see it at the end of the month. Roma against Milan, 31st of October. And then we've got Roma-Inter, 4th of December. So over the next month and a half, Inter and Milan have to play against Roma at home. And we'll see. And I think we'll realize that the point that we got here is not a bad result against a team that was physical, a team that was organized, a team that counterattacks very well, very technical. It's not a team that we often see in the Serie A. And we showed that against these type of teams, we can also get a result, which is good, because I think we've played now quite a wide variety of different teams. And it's good to know that we can play physical as well, because Roma were physical today. Rafael Aguilera is saying Milan are throwing away the Champions League to try to win the league. Look, I don't know about that. I don't know. Maybe in the game against Porto they could have done a bit more, but they did have a lot of injuries. So I don't blame them for that. But against Liverpool and against Atletico Madrid, they lost, but they lost not deserving to lose. Against Atletico Madrid, they were winning until 10 minutes to go, and they were in 10, and so they lost that game. And against Liverpool, it was such a cracking game. It could have gone either way, and then they lost. Talking about Liverpool, guys, did you see 5-0 against Man United? 5-0. And then this is why going on a tangent here, this is why I say the Europa League is so important for Napoli. So important, because, guys, realistically, that is the only European competition that a team like Napoli can win, because in the Champions League, you've got absolute machines like Bayern Munich that won 5-0 against Bayer Leverkusen last weekend, the team in second place in Germany, winning 5-0 against a team in second place. And then you've got Liverpool destroying Manchester United away from home 5-0. You've got these, and I haven't even talked about City. I haven't even talked about PSG. I haven't even talked about, Chelsea, obviously the champions of that competition, won 7-0 this weekend. You've got 5 teams in the Champions League that are head and shoulders above everyone else. And honestly, a team like Napoli in a Champions League can only really get to a semi-final at most if things go extremely well. But realistically, we're looking at a quarterfinal, and then we go up against, one of these big teams, and it's a 50-50. It's not guaranteed anymore that we're going to get into the semi-final. It's not even 50-50. It's more like 60-40 for that team. And I know people will say we beat Liverpool and we did well against PSG and all that stuff, but at the end of the day, we never got past the round of 16 in Europe. I mean, we were up against the worst Barcelona team in a very long time 2 seasons ago, and we didn't get past that. So, yeah. When people say, why are we focusing on the Europa League, or why focus on the Europa League, it's because it's the only European competition a team like Napoli can win, and I'm not going to snub that. So, I'm just, just want to talk about that for a second. Angela Torres saying, ciao Domenico, un pareggio non è male, tu cosa ne pensi? Sì, non è tanto male un pareggio, penso che abbiamo fatto un risultato decente contro una squadra forte e ci sta un pareggio. So, I'm just saying how a draw is a decent result, and, I'll take that against a team that is a good team, a Roma team that deserves more points than what they have in the league. And don't let that 6-1 fool you on Thursday, because I feel like Roma should have 3 or 4 points more and should be closer to where Inter are at the moment, because their starting 11 is very good, and we saw that today. They caused us some trouble, more trouble than any other team so far have caused Napoli, and that's why we didn't win today. So Anthony Giampaolo saying, I personally think Napoli could be a dark horse Champions League winner, but it would be a dark horse chance, like I said. Yeah, I mean, you get teams like Ajax a few years ago that reached the semi-final. I mean, we had Tottenham reach the final. We had Roma reach the semi-finals once, but you are really talking about a dark horse. You are talking about, like a 20% chance that Napoli could ever reach a final in Champions League. 20% is pushing it. A 10% chance. So it could happen. I'm not saying it can't, but yeah. Cannavaro Flames, can you say smash that like button in Neapolitan? It doesn't. How would it? It wouldn't feel right. Not saying smash that like button. Schiaccia like. Would you say schiaccia like? Schiaccio like? Because you wouldn't say il mi piace, right? People just say like now. Even in like Italian, people would just say like. They wouldn't say, il like button. They would say il bottone like, il pulsante like. They wouldn't say il mi piace, which is the literal translation of like. So, yeah, it would be schiaccio like in Neapolitan. In Italian, schiaccia il like. So, yeah, there we go. We can try it in different languages. Pousser le like in French, or I don't know, guys. You tell me the language, and I'll speak it. Guys, 2 minutes until the F1. So I'm going to have to end this live because Spalletti hasn't spoken yet, and we got to watch the F1. So, okay, he had something to say at the zone. So let's quickly read what he had to say at the zone, and then I'm gonna have to actually, you know what? I'm gonna put the F1 on. No, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna put it on my phone while I'm live. Never mind. Let's read what Spalletti has to say, and then I'm gonna bounce. All right. Let's see. Luciano Spalletti says, I want to first clarify the episode of my red card. At the end of the game, I went to the Massa, the referee, and I said, anyways, good job. And he put everything together, and he gave me a red card. It's something that really destroys me because I came there with the best intentions, but I think he thought that I was ironic. Did you expect a Roma like this? They said, look, both teams did a great game, as I said in my analysis. Both teams tried to attack and win, and there was a lot of equilibrium in today's game. And we never really got too many dangerous opportunities either way. Anguissa was he also this good when he arrived? And he's saying, look, he is a great athlete, a real man, and he knows how to do everything. He needs to improve in his finishing. See, he's saying the exact same things that I'm saying. He needs to improve his finishing. That's what I said. Because Yeah, because with the work rate that he has, he puts himself in great situations to score, and he doesn't shoot. That's what I said. That's what I said. He's literally so Spalletti's literally watching Napoli talk and then going and having press conferences. I that's my theory, and I swear that's true. Anyways, they were saying how we both teams showed a willingness to try to win the game, and both teams had the right approach. It was a difficult game, and only towards the end were we able to actually become more dangerous when we had a bit more movement. So, for example, when Insigne was playing as a deep playmaker, that allowed us, I think, to do a bit better. And they asked him about the booze that the Olimpico gave Spalletti, and he said, I have some great memories at Roma, and that's pretty much it. So that is Spalletti, guys. Let's see if there's any other player that had an interview. I don't think so, but guys, so that is everything from me. In French, it would be défoncer le like, I think. Well, yeah. Défoncer is a bit aggressive, though, isn't it? Like, that's literally like destroy the like button. Whereas I guess I said like press the like button, so you kind of need an in-between. We need to find an in-between for that. Let's see. Any other day you think it's a fair result? Yeah, I think that's a fair result. Osimhen takes some shooting tips from Ciro Mertens. Look, Ciro Mertens is a top goal scorer, and anyone can take lessons from Ciro Mertens. And I think that Osimhen is a type of player that needs. So this is the alert that the game is the F1 is starting. So yeah, Ciro Mertens is the type of player that he could teach most strikers in the game how to score, how to strike a ball. And Mertens was saying that himself, that he wants to help Osimhen reach higher levels. Osimhen, when he came to Napoli, said that he wants to learn a lot from Mertens. I think there's a mutual respect there. And Mertens on Thursday made an interview where he talked about this. So, that's the situation with them two at the moment. Anyways, guys, I'm off. Have a great Sunday. And I think my stream is lagging for some reason. Have a great Sunday. And as always, Forza Napoli sempre. My stream is lagging. Yep, it's lagging. Anyways, if you guys didn't catch that ending, I said have a good Sunday, and as always, Forza Napoli sempre.